So take Blackout, put it into Modern Warfare, and just give it a quick clean up, and here we have Warzone. When Warzone came out, I actually wanted to wait and just gather my thoughts, play the game more, and wait a good month after it came out, so my opinion was a lot more finalized. I have to confess, when I heard that Warzone was coming out and Modern Warfare, COD was having another Battle Royale, from my previous experience from Blackout, I was absolutely shitting bricks. I was so worried. I'm thinking, well, there just goes a waste of a potentially good game mode, but oh my god, was I proven wrong. In general, I was just very dismissive of the game mode. I was thinking, oh my god, it's going to be so bad. And it does have its issues, but I'll get to them soon. But let's delve into what me, and I'm sure many others, were thinking before Warzone actually came out. Okay, one quick side note before I actually get into the video. I hope everyone is doing okay and is staying safe from the big COVID-19, aka the coronavirus. It's been definitely dicking a lot of people over, and I just really hope that everyone is staying safe and is taking the right precautions. If you just follow them things, like wash your hands thoroughly, try not to go out in public, then everything will be fine. But overall, I just hope that everyone is safe and healthy. Ever since Black Ops 4 launched with its own Battle Royale, aka Blackout, I was skeptical like I was with Warzone, but obviously this was the first Battle Royale COD was doing, and I really did think they were just trend hopping because of Fortnite and PUBG. But however, I was right. I feel like Blackout had a lot of things going for it, but it just fell flat on its face, with the weapons just not feeling good to use, the overall gameplay just feeling clunky, as well as a lack of footsteps, and this was really, really frustrating, as you can imagine, since people would be in buildings, you wouldn't be able to hear them, and bang, you're dead. It was so frustrating. Even out in the open, you just couldn't hear anyone. Footsteps, despite having so many quote-unquote fixes, they just did not seem to come through. Oh, and the body armor system was just so Okay, I'm sorry, I'm really getting off track here. I think whether you liked Blackout or not, you would 100% agree that it could have done way, way better, and it did miss the mark. So when Infinity Ward announced that they were actually doing a new Battle Royale called Warzone, I'm not gonna lie, I feel like a lot of people were skeptical here. Surely this could not have just been me. Luckily for us, when Warzone released, it was nothing like Blackout. Now, admittedly, it may have had the same Call of Duty feel, but Infinity Ward did a much better job than Treyarch on this. The gunplay feels so much better compared to Blackout. The armor system is actually really generous and fair, considering armor plates, which is what you use to fill up your armor, is very easy to find. All you have is 3 bars which you have to fill up. There's no higher level armor that protects you more. The kicker here is everybody starts with not only a pistol, but 2 out of their 3 armor slots full. This, unlike Blackout, gives everybody a fighting chance at the very beginning, the second they drop in. Another huge thing about Warzone that actually makes it totally different from Blackout is that it's crossplay, which is amazing. That is a very useful thing. All people really want most out of a Battle Royale game, well, one of the things, is to be able to play with their friends and squad up and just have a really good time. And Warzone allows that, unlike Blackout. Once again, making it stand out. And I can 100% guarantee that this is one of the huge pulls that Warzone had going for it. So not only have I covered the fact that the gunplay and gameplay is overall smoother, the armor system being more fair and balanced, as well as crossplay being a thing, there is one huge thing that actually makes Warzone stand out from Blackout, which is the Gulag. The Gulag, the good times I've had in it, the god-awful times I've had in it. The Gulag is a feature where it basically gives you a second chance. When you die, you go into the Gulag, you are captured as a prisoner of war, and you are forced to have a 1v1 pit fight with other people who have also died, and the victor gets to go back into the match. You can actually spectate other fights that people are having from above the pit, and you can throw rocks to show one person where the other person is, and it is quite funny. It's really amusing just seeing a line of people all throwing rocks at one person trying to dick them over after they've all decided that they really don't want this person to win the fight. Now, it's unfortunate when you are that person being targeted by rocks, but however, it is just as satisfying when you actually manage to come out on top despite the fact you are put at a disadvantage. A quick word of advice: instead of throwing rocks around like a Neanderthal when you're in the Gulag, expand your brain mass and knowledge by running around the Gulag and actually spray painting people a bright colour so that you can actually see them, because if there's one issue with Modern Warfare, that is you actually can't see people sometimes. It's honestly ridiculous. You'll feel like you're playing against Master Chief with an active camouflage. So the next time you're in the Gulag, make sure that you actually spray paint people, because my god, you will see a difference. All this talk about rock throwing is flaring my PTSD up. It's making me remember the noises of all of the times I've been in the Gulag, and all I can hear is the noise of rocks bouncing off my skull. I think the last thing about the Gulag that is worth noting is the gun selection isn't that good a lot of the time. One example being the Origin 12 shotgun, which makes me want to die. There is no skill involved with that gun. It usually consists of being in the Gulag with someone, you both have one, and then it's just this big shitfest of spamming the gun and hoping that one of the pellets reaches your opponent's head and kills them first. I can't even count how many bullshit losses and wins I've actually had in the Gulag with the Origin 12 and the R90 shotgun as well. That's another offender. Because of the lack of skill involved in using them guns, it makes a lot of wins and losses feel very bullshit and just not feel earned. But in conclusion with the Gulag, as much as I do have some mixed feelings with it sometimes, I do definitely swing more towards the fact that I feel like it should be in Warzone, and it definitely is one of the best features about it. If you're one of the unlucky people that gets pistol rushed at the beginning of a match, it does help compensate for that when you actually get back on your feet after you've got out of the Gulag, and it's just a very generous system. I'm glad to report that there's a lot of good to be said about Warzone, and admittedly I've already said some of these things like the smooth gunplay and the Gulag, etc. I could honestly go into even the littlest of things which I just appreciate about the game, like when you shatter someone's armor and you're halfway to killing them. Just seeing that little blue icon pop up and hearing the noise and stuff feels like a little victory in and of itself. When I first watched the Warzone trailer, I was very scared and skeptical about the use of kill streaks and how they would be in a battle royale scene, but to my surprise they actually work pretty well. Now there is one complaint about them, which is obviously the loadout drop, but I will get to that on the other section of this video. I'm glad that they have added some kill streaks, you know, ones that feel usable and sensible for a battle royale. I'll get a bit annoyed though if they start adding predator missiles and stuff like that that can just insta kill someone. The good thing about a cluster strike, however, is that you actually have a reasonable amount of time to act. If anything, the most overpowered kill streak on that list is the UAV, because you can see where people are around you and is really good for the final few circles. And something I really do appreciate as well about Warzone is that when you're playing with a squad, everybody feels active in the sense that if someone dies, it isn't it. The game isn't over. You can still pull the big clutch and win the game. Because when your teammate goes to the Gulag, there's still a very good chance that they can end up winning and coming back, giving you a lot of reason to stay alive. And even if they lose, you can actually buy them back. So the game is more than generous when it comes to actually having teammates around. Endgame is quite intense, and to me, that's a good thing. It's extremely rewarding and satisfying when you actually manage to make it out of an intense situation and an overall heated battle and manage to win. And when you actually get the win, it makes you feel like you're Batman. I'm also really happy with the fact that Warzone doesn't use attachments and rely on them as heavily as Blackout did, because it got ridiculous having to pick up all these attachments and manage your inventory. It was so goddamn annoying. The beautiful thing about Warzone is that you don't actually have to worry about this as much at all. The only thing you really have to worry about is the actual variant of the gun that you pick up. Warzone as a whole lives up to what a COD Battle Royale should be and what it should have been all along, unlike a few others which we shall not name. And honestly, all these things, as big or as small as they are, just fit together to make Warzone a very good experience. So with a few of the good things out of the way, let's move on to the things that aren't so good. Warzone doesn't come to us without its flaws, and something I mentioned earlier, which is going to be included in this, is people can be very hard to spot sometimes. Now, this can happen when they're like laid on the floor and you can't really see them that well, or if they're sat inside a house in like a dark corner. It's really frustrating when it feels like a freaking toilet just shot at you. Seriously, the amount of times I have walked into a house and for some reason the bathroom, it always seems to be the bathroom. Someone is like sat on the toilet and just kills me. It's very frustrating, and I know 100% I am not the only one that this has happened to. This is something that really frustrated me whenever I'd play Ground War, and it kind of feels like it happens in Warzone as well. The problem is, I don't really think this is anything that can be fixed or will get fixed. It just doesn't seem like the kind of thing that would get fixed compared to other things like footsteps, which I feel cannot be heard very well at all. You can hear them better in multiplayer than you can in Warzone, and it just confuses me. I don't really understand why that's the case. This is one of the biggest complaints I had with Blackout, and it can just be very, very frustrating. In a battle royale game where you only have one life, and that could be the end, and I know obviously there's the Gulag and stuff, but still, you should definitely be able to hear people coming. Like, that should be a priority, and I don't understand why COD Battle Royales can't really seem to nail footsteps. But I am staying positive that they will get tweaked or changed in some way so you can actually hear them a lot better. This next thing easily has to be one of the biggest problems, and that is loadout drops. And loadout drops on the surface seem like a really cool idea where, you know, you get a certain amount of money and then bang, you can get a drop that gives you any class you want. And as you can imagine, people have exploited the shit out of this. How have they been exploited, you ask? Well, let me tell you. Thermal scopes are one of the biggest problems in the game, I think, which comes from loadout drops most of the time. People, including myself, because if you don't have a thermal scope, you won't be able to see as many people. It's just a fact. It's not like thermal scopes even allow you to see just a few people in the area. You can look extremely far away and see people with a thermal scope. It feels very silly. So maybe nerf thermal scopes, and also nerf how easy it is to actually get loadout drops, because getting money in that game is ridiculously easy. Now, this issue sounds like a positive at first, but then when you actually realize the second half of it, it's actually not that good, and it can be very, very dirty. So vehicles are really good. They're actually a very fun way to kill people, just rolling into them at like 1 mile per hour and it somehow kills them. And it also kills people through walls. If someone has vaulted over a concrete wall and you crash the car into it whilst they're stood on the other side of the wall, you will kill them. And I have done this many times. I would have had footage, but I lost it, unfortunately. But honestly, you can try it, it happens, and it feels so ridiculous that you can kill someone even though they've got out of the way of the car. You can literally get them through the wall. How does that even? Especially with the whole going at someone at like 1 mile per hour, it is so ridiculous. You will not be going fast enough to kill someone, and somehow they die straight away. I do not understand. Feels a bit odd, but it can be funny, admittedly. And last but certainly not least, people like to camp. a lot. People just seem to be sat in houses or in just really absurd spots that you just don't really understand why someone would be sat there just waiting. And it makes me wonder how long they have been sat there just waiting, because I walk into a building, I walk past a tree or something, and I'm dead, and I just don't get it, how the people have the patience. Okay, listen, I'm not gonna sit here and act like camping doesn't work, but it just is very frustrating, and it doesn't help with the whole not being able to see people that well either. It's just very annoying, and it happens a lot like at the end of a game as well. The last few people will just be camping, and I understand why, but it's just very frustrating. I wish there were ways to prevent it. Maybe if someone is sat in a place for too long, not moving, they get their location revealed or something, or a bounty put on them. I'm just spitballing here, but I'm sure there's some good way to at least reduce the amount of camping that happens in a match. Whilst these bad things can be kind of annoying, they definitely don't make the game awful. I feel like Warzone is still a really fun experience and is definitely a better experience with friends. To conclude this Warzone review, I feel like Warzone is a surprisingly good battle royale. I would say it's one of the better ones compared to the big cesspit that is the battle royale market. It definitely surprised me, and I'm actually really glad it turned out the way it did. And honestly, I'm enjoying it enough to actually probably do some more videos on it, so if you guys want to see that, then let me know. But anyways, I'm gonna leave this video here today. If you enjoyed it, be sure to smash that like button, comment, subscribe for more, turn on the notification bell too, and also share the video because it actually does really help for a small channel like mine. If you've made it this far, thank you so much. It means the absolute world to me, and also I hope you all stay safe, most importantly. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you next time.